Yankees beating the Blue Jays 9-8. Listen, a win is a win. That's a great thing. A win sometimes is a slog, and the Yankees had a 9-2 lead flash, and the Blue Jays just kept grinding away.
Blue Jays kept grinding away. You know, you're going to take this win after the Yankees have been struggling a little bit offensively with the 9 runs and the fact that they were able to put 6 on the board early on. If you're a starting pitcher, an opposing pitcher against this Yankee lineup, when they're right, you have to have your A stuff. Gausman did not have his good fastball today. Velocity was down. The Yankees were able to take care of that. That's all the good news. Then you go to the bad news, the pitching side of it, Jack. This all goes back to me with Clark Schmidt. You have a 6-0 lead early on, and you can't get through 5 innings. You're going to have to go to your bullpen. It's going to be exposed a little bit, and you hated the fact that Hamilton and Holmes had to come in there to finish it up.
You're winning 6-0 after 2 innings. You're winning 9-2 after 6 innings. That's a night where you feel as if you're going to cruise. And to your point, Schmidt only got them 13 outs. So that meant the bullpen had to get another 14 outs, and the bullpen was tested tonight, and they did end up using some of their A relievers, so that impacts tomorrow's game. But in baseball, you survive and you advance, and the Yankees are going to take this win. Judge and Stanton went deep early against Gausman. Rizzo added a home run later, and this offense that had been shut out in 2 of its last 3 games, it flexed its muscles, but the Yankees still exhaled when Holmes was finally able to get the 27th out.
So your Hyundai opening comments focusing on a lot of the key storylines in this one to help the Yankees even the series and a game apiece with this 9-8 win. On the pregame tonight, among the things we talked about are more guys getting involved in terms of hitting and, of course, finally finding a way to solve really good pitchers. We know Kevin Gausman is one. So let's take a look at our highlights of this game, brought to you by your local Ford stores, and putting together good at-bats again against a quality pitcher. And, Jack, they were able to do that right out of the gate. Juan Soto in the bottom of the first, facing Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, he puts on a demonstration here against Gausman. At this point, we don't know what Gausman's stuff is going to be like, but that fastball was only 87. He did not have the velocity on his fastball, but suddenly he's ahead 0-2. Soto doesn't like that call, says something to Lance Barksdale. But here's where Soto begins to win the at-bat. It's a splitter. He lets it tail outside for ball 1. He's going to get another splitter. That one's going to be down. That was probably a tougher take, and he lets that go. 2-2. Soto's ready. He fouls that fastball off. 4-seamer at 92. Gausman's still not at the velocity we normally see him at. Another good take and a little shuffle. A little pounding of the hip. It's 3-2. He gets one more fastball low, and that is going to set the stage for the rest of the action that happens this inning. You walk Soto when you're Gausman. The next batter is Aaron Judge. Even though he gets ahead of him 0-2. It's probably the worst splitter Gausman's ever thrown to Judge. It tails inside. It does exactly what Judge wants it to do. Keeps his hands in. 2-run shot, his second of the season, his 4th off Gausman. Yankees up 2-0.
All right, so they're wearing Gausman out a little bit, but a couple batters later, you talked about Stanton on the pregame flash.
Yeah, he had good numbers coming in against Gausman, and he's first pitch swinging, drives it just over the wall in right field, his 2nd home run of the year, an early 3-0 Yankees lead.
More trouble for Gausman, bottom of the 2nd, bases loaded, nobody out, and Gleyber Torres at the plate smokes this one to deep left center field. Dalton Varsho will make the catch on the warning track, but plenty deep to get Anthony Volpe to tag and score easily. Austin Wells going to 3rd, and that would make it a 4-0 Yankees lead. Next hitter, Soto up again. This time, ball getting away from Brian Serven. Wells able to score on the pass ball. Yankees taking advantage. They take a 5-0 lead, and then Soto still up on a 2-0 count and grounds this one to right field. Base hit. They capitalize again. Cabrera scores to make it 6-0. Their offense really getting the job done tonight. So Yankees against Kevin Gausman. He had been very good against them in the past, but tonight, an inning and a third. Just he had trouble in that first inning. His previous 7, you see that he'd gone 6 or more innings, but tonight they get him out of there in the 2nd. Let's get it down to the field. Meredith Morakovitz able to catch up with Giancarlo Stanton right after the game.
Giancarlo, the offense posted 9 tonight, and you guys needed every one of those runs. How impressed have you been with you guys 1 through 9, the way you've grinded down pitchers?
Everyone contributed tonight. We needed every last one for sure, but I'm pretty sure everyone got on or hit the ball hard, and that's what's important, and you just got to wear them down.
3 hits for you tonight, including a home run. What adjustments, if any, did you make coming into tonight to allow you to find your rhythm at the plate?
Just stay a little bit, stay in my legs a little bit more. I feel like I was coming up out of them on some swings, so just stay down.
How do you keep it going?
We got to get this series tomorrow and roll it into Miami.
Aaron Boone has said multiple times he still feels like the offense isn't firing on all cylinders yet, but you guys are getting close. How close do you think you are, and what do you think this offense is capable of when you are firing on all cylinders?
Yeah, I agree, but the best part about that is everyone's still having good at-bats, deep at-bats. So even if we get out, if we can see 5-6 pitches, pass the baton, and, once we start clicking fully, it's going to be scary.
Giancarlo, thanks for the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Send it back to you.
Meredith, thank you. Giancarlo and the offense getting back to what they were doing in the first handful of games of the season when they got off to that 5-0 start. 9 runs, 12 hits tonight, so offense getting back. Now, the pitching needs to be a different story in this one, or Clark Schmidt needs to find a way, as we talked about on the pregame, to go a little deeper into games. Let's break down his outing tonight in the pitching decisions presented by Sage. And Flash, he needed to get off to a good start, especially stake to an early lead.
He got an early lead, and I thought the first inning for Clark Schmidt was as good as I've seen him throw the baseball, especially establishing that fastball in on the hands there of Bichette at 96 miles an hour. And you're thinking early on in this one, Jack, that he's going to have a big-time performance, but it kind of got away from him. Lost the strike zone a little bit. I thought pitched maybe a little tentatively as well.
Yeah, I think some command issues became an issue for him. You want to be economical when you have a 6-0 lead. And what really stood out for me in this game is once the Yankees gave him a 6-0 lead, he pitched 3 more innings, or at least was on the mound for 3 innings. The Blue Jays had leadoff guys on in all 3 of those innings, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. So Clark Schmidt, I'm sure, will admit that he needed to be more economical tonight. He needed to figure out a way to at least get through 5 innings. He taxed the bullpen tonight, and though the Yankees got the win, Clark didn't pitch as deep into this game as I'm sure he would have hoped.
Blue Jays did go 0 for 6 against his cutter. He got 3 strikeouts on that one. But again, as you watch that game and you're looking at Schmidt, and the pitch total is 75 in the 3rd inning, and then the 4th inning, and the numbers getting up there, it's just pushing deeper into games and, again, saving that bullpen. And as you guys said, a lot of things went awry later in the game for them to have to burn some of that bullpen.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on the pregame show. There's so much to like about Clark Schmidt and what he brings to the table with his arsenal that there's another level for his game to go to. And tonight was just another example. Like I said, in the 1st inning, he was pounding the fastball in at 96 and the good combination of cutters, sweepers away. And you're thinking, this is what he's supposed to look like. He can dominate a lineup, and then all of a sudden it gets away from him. And as you mentioned, that pitch count goes up to a point that Aaron Boone has to pull him out of there, and he can't get through 5 innings. For a starting pitcher, there's a responsibility to win ball games, but there's also a responsibility to go deep into ball games to try to save your bullpen. That didn't happen tonight.
After that rapid start that you were detailing, last 14 batters that he faced, 7 got on base. He's fortunate that only 2 of them scored. There was a moment in this game in the 4th inning where Vlad Guerrero was 1 swing away from turning what had been 6-0. It was 6-2 then, turning it into 6-5. So something that should have been smoother for the Yankees definitely got off the rails a little bit. They're happy that they were able to defeat the Blue Jays. They can get the series tomorrow, but it ended up being a lot more chaotic than they thought it would be.
So how do you describe it then? Because he's aggressive early. As you mentioned, fastball-cutter combo is working. You get the 6-0 lead. Was he being aggressive and then got less aggressive when maybe you would go to the mound and say, dude, be uber aggressive here?
Yeah, I would say cut the plate in half, right? Yeah. Let's go from middle in to middle away and stay away from the edges and really pound the strike zone and keep the pressure on the Blue Jays when the Yankees had that early 6-0 lead. A lot of starting pitchers, you get a big lead like that early and you start thinking, okay, all I got to do is get through 5+ and I'm going to be in line for a win. And maybe you start pitching a little bit differently. I don't know if that was the case with Clark, and I'm going to say this again. There's so much to like about him, and he's going to go to another level. But when he takes a step backwards, maybe in the 3rd and 4th inning in this one, it gets a little frustrating.
Well, the